G'day folks, my name is Rob and welcome back for another F1 Fantasy Deadline Q&A stream for the Hungarian Grand Prix. What a stream we have in front of us. Hope you guys are well. It's an absolutely glorious Saturday where I am, and there's a lot to get through, but also maybe not all that much. But good to have a few of you in the chat already. It's going to be a fun one. And for those of you that follow me on Twitter, you probably saw me post yesterday, the day before. This is my first deadline stream since first 2-hour deadline stream right before quali since Spain, May 31st. So over 2 months. I've missed the last few. Then I did a Q&A stream. I think it was for Canada, but well before the deadline. So yeah, I'm pumped. It feels like first day of school, to be honest. And yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm pretty confident of that. So, apologies if there's any kinks. It seems like the audio and the visuals are working all right so far. But yeah, it's been a little while. So dusting off the cobwebs. Hopefully the tech's okay. I know we had a few issues in the past, but hoping and crossing my fingers OBS holds up for the next 2 hours. But good to see so many of you in the chat. No Stop Till Brooklyn. Michael, as always, one of the stalwarts of the community here. Momocillo, I hope I pronounced that right. Sedwa, how are you? Good morning, Ben. Ether, Jables, Craig. Good to see all of you guys back. It's going to be a good stream. Maybe not the busiest, craziest one we've ever had, but I'm confident it'll be a fun 2 hours. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what we can discuss in the next kind of short while before we get to qualifying. So yeah, make sure as always, guys, throw a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't done so already, because if you want your questions answered, I believe you have to subscribe. I was looking this up during the week, but I don't think that will stop anyone who wants to pick my brains on F1 fantasy. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm pumped. I'll kick a couple of questions off from what I can see already, and then we'll dive into team selection. We'll talk about dilemmas. I've got some notes behind my team that you can see on screen, which we'll talk about as well. So yeah, it's gonna be a good one. So I'll fire off some quick questions, and yeah, we'll ride it out for the next 2 hours, guys. So yeah, Forza Ferrari as well. Let's go. Yeah, Michael, Michael, we'll start with your question. So a 4A Piastri, Leclerc, McLaren, Ferrari. I know you were talking about that during the week, Michael, with Colapinto, Lawson, Bortoletto would be set to score 230 points this weekend, according to the Sims. Contrast that to the meta at the moment, set to score 220. Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like going the route of the 4A with Ferrari, like a Ferrari driver in the case of Leclerc, the Sims don't really feel like they paint the whole picture. I almost think premium assets will score higher. It's all about that delta, as we know as well, on these low overtake circuits. So 10 points doesn't seem like a lot. I think it would probably be closer to maybe 15 or 20, but it just goes to show high budget teams will claw back these deficits over the next few weeks if they were sacrificing points for budget gain earlier in the season. So yeah, Michael, we can talk about that throughout, but I think the Sims doesn't tell the whole picture. Limitless with or without Verstappen, Momocillo's asking. I think without. Red Bull looked lost at sea. I'd be putting Russell in at that 5th driver slot with the double McLaren, double Ferrari driver lineup. Jables is coming from New Hampshire. Well, I'm not far away, mate. I'm down in New York, so all in the same continent. Craig's asking if he's going to regret swapping out Behrman for Stroll every time I get Stroll back and it goes pear-shaped. Well, I always think Stroll is going to really have a stinker, and then he's looked good recently, very decent. And I genuinely think that this is a weekend for Stroll for sure. I don't think necessarily he's gonna. look, I worry Aston Martin's pace doesn't tell the full story. They look quick, don't get me wrong, and they have done for the last couple of weekends, at least through Fernando. I do think Stroll is definitely a buy this week, just based on A, the Aston Martin pace, and B, the fact he doesn't really need to score much for a price rise. I think it's like 3 points. We'll just jump across to the budget builder quickly so I can get you the answer. But he doesn't need much for 2 points for a max rise. I think all of the stars are aligning for Lance Stroll this week. So yeah, I think he's definitely a buy, Craig. Do you think Aston is good to get? Constructor wise, I still think, even though the Ferrari price tag is much higher, I think Aston Martins are a lock for the low budget teams. I'm looking at teams under 110, maybe the 115s. But if you've got 120 plus like me, I still think Ferrari, their race pace is always going to be strong. We did see Fernando fend off Lewis, a few years ago when he was back at Renault Alpine. But it's I still think, unless you've got a lower budget, Ferrari are definitely my pick for the second constructor. Hey Cobbo, how are you? 10k, road to 10k. Yeah, I'd love to get 10k by the end of the season, but I'm very mindful that all of the subs come in the first half of the year, and we're very much past that point. So, as I said, everyone who's in the chat has subscribed, as far as I understand it. So, anyone watching that is yet to, please show some love. There'll be plenty more streams throughout the second half of the year, as I said at the start. Been a little slack lately, but we will be bouncing back with a few more. I'll probably do a stream over the summer break as well. I'm going to start a poll. Nothing too crazy, but yes. So I'll be back throughout the off season, 4 weeks off. But I do think we will naturally see a little bit of attrition in F1 Fantasy coming back. I think the big breaks between each of the races, particularly those 2 to 3 week breaks, you do see we almost have like a bit of a hangover. Let me just fix that. Is that all right? That's all right. We do have a bit of a hangover getting back into the swing of things. So yeah. Few more questions in the chat. Help me out, y'all. Ben saying 114 budget, McLaren, Kick, Piastri, Norris. Can you get to Aston Martin, Ben? Because I think Kick just look a bit shaky this weekend. 2 transfers also have Limitless. To be fair, Ben, your team is set up perfectly for Limitless. I'd probably go Limitless, in fact, because all of those assets will rise. You could consider it in Zandvoort or Singapore or on a sprint later in the year, but I think, Ben, the way you've got all assets likely to rise, I just pull trigger, except for Bortoletto, but 0.2 is nothing too bad. Alex is asking Alonso or Antonelli. Alonso this week. I think Antonelli's looking good, and seems to have more confidence, but he's going to drop in price. And most people will probably pile in on him after the summer break. So while Aston Martin are looking good, and Alonso I think will probably fall out of favour after summer, just because Alonso, for instance, is kind of nearing his price ceiling, in my opinion. This is probably my last week. I thought this would be my last week with him. I still may well move him out. But anyway, Alonso is my answer. I've got the same team as you, and I'm certain there's no changes that need to be made. Buy 3 free transfers. I agree. I might not make a single transfer for the first time in my F1 fantasy career. Crazy, hey? McLaren, Ferrari, and Aston. Wow. I missed 4A heavy by 0.1. Wow, that's a nice budget. How does the forecast look? Thinking about Limitless. Great question. The forecast, I think there's still some rain. We'll talk about that in more detail a little later in the video. But I think, I say a little later. Let's just do it now. Budapest weather. Where's moderate thunderstorm warning tomorrow? So that still holds. But yeah, I still think Limitless remains good, assuming the weather isn't crazy. Sorry, oh my God, so many ads on this. So many ads. What is going on? What? So yeah, let's look at the weather because the track's northeast of the city in Budapest. Can I open this? So 56% chance of rain tomorrow. If I do recall correctly, most of it was coming in the morning. But what's the afternoon? Because we're looking at like a 3-4 o'clock. Lights out. Partly sunny in the afternoon. Chance of precipitation very low. So we could have a drying track by the time. I think Limitless is on this weekend, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see. Hey Mazuris, good to have you in the chat. Radio Paddock, another staple of the channel. Alonso and Behrman or Stroll and Colapinto? Alonso Behrman for me this week. Limitless is good this week. Change Alonso to Lawson or just keep Alonso. I feel like the sentiment's moving towards Fernando Alonso. Just a stick. A stick for this week. All right, Robbo, you got to catch up with these. Comments. Before we go, full F1, Son leaving Spurs, thoughts? Yeah, sad time. I love Sonny. He's my favourite Spurs player of all time. But he's had his ride. I'm happy that he's getting an opportunity, in the US, it seems like, LAFC. So yeah, I'll miss Sonny, but happy for him to go out on a high. Albon off the board makes template very templatey. Too templatey. Tell you what's also a template, Michael? Milk before cereal. Why are so many going Lawson over Behrman? Behrman only needs 1 point to knock up him. Are people going Lawson over Behrman? I think people were going Lawson over Alonso. I think Behrman's a definite buy this week, just based on price. Haas, they're always a bit sneaky, hard to read in practice, but I don't think Behrman's anywhere near a sell. When was that announced? Great news for Son, terrible news for Spurs. I don't think it's that terrible. He's old, he's slow, he won't be getting much game time this season. Verstappen or Russell for Limitless? Russell, I'm currently first in my league with a 60-point lead, Mazura says, but my budget is pretty bad compared to others behind me. Should I be focusing on budget or is it too late? It's never too late to focus on budget. It depends how aggressive you want to be. I still think you want Piastri, McLaren as a bare minimum, but everything else, maybe B-tier assets is my read on it, like an Aston Martin this week. Because that's still probably fetching some points. Red Bull are out of the equation, so I think if you can get into an Aston Martin build, I think that's compelling. Used 3x last week, got triple McLaren, Hulk, Behrman, Alonso, Aston. Really feeling Limitless for Hungary. Would you go Russell, Verstappen? Russell. Maybe I should change. Can we take these notes off? Window capture browser. Yeah. So I'm going to change this. These are my notes. Just so people are aware of kind of my stance on Limitless, my stance on the weekend, questions for everyone. What else have we got? We need your advice. Do we need my advice? I don't know. It wouldn't trust me sometimes. Limitless activated. Red Bull and Williams look dreadful. They do. Grant, they really do. Dashing Fox, I answered that question. Hey, Rob, thoughts on Limitless? Great. I think, we just saw the forecast. I genuinely think that there's probably not too bad of a weekend ahead for Limitless if it dries out before the race tomorrow. Hannah is asking Holken, Lawson or Hadjar and Behrman? Holken, Lawson, Hannah. Definitely, just based on price, budget preservation. If you ran Limit... I think all of my Limitless questions should be answered on screen here. Okay, need to find... Yeah, Spurs do need a new... I mean, I think... did we sign? I think we signed another South Korean ace last season, but he's quite young, so I don't think he'll be getting much game time. Snivens, thanks for dropping by, mate. My team is McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Hulk, Behrman, Lawson, Stroll, 2 transfers and 1.5. What should I do in your opinion? Can you get to Ferrari, or is that too much of a stretch? I can't imagine you can with that budget. My thoughts then would be... Ooh... Mercedes look fine. I don't think it's panic stations. Yeah, I think Mercedes are fine this week. if you can't stretch to a Ferrari. But in reality, I do think if you can get to Ferrari, they're definitely my pick of the constructors. Jazz is asking, same team as you except for Lawson instead of Behrman. Can't afford to upgrade Alonso to Behrman. Keep Alonso or downgrade to Bort Colapinto? Keep Alonso, Jazz. Keep. Yes, no has the triple McLaren Sauber build. I think I'll go Norris, Kick, and Ferrari and Stroll. Wouldn't you go? I would stick with McLaren. McLaren look much better than Ferrari. Unless you really think Piastri is going to DNF. That's the kind of impression I get from the proposed lineup. Yes, no, but I think stick with triple McLaren. Okay. Far out. So many comments in the chat. So I'm hardly being able to keep up. Gavin is in the stream. He won my league. I think he was 7th in the world 2 years ago. So shout out to Gavin. Certainly not a name I forget when you win the Formula Fantasy Hub F1 Fantasy League. So thank you for dropping by, my friend. Michael, we are going with Stroll over Behrman here. Already have Lawson, poor person. I thought you had similar budget to me, Michael. I know you've probably got 30 or 40 points ahead of me, but yeah, Lawson's still fine. I think you should keep Alonso over Lawson, Rob. Yeah, I think so too. So Behrman for Stroll? Yeah. If you had to, but don't force it. It depends, Ryan, on what the rest of your team is. I think, yeah, I'd take Stroll. Like, Stroll will be better than Behrman. If we go over to the team calculator, we should be able to, I haven't even logged my team yet. Alonso or Lawson, Renan is asking. Definitely Alonso. Well, not definitely, but let me throw the team calculator back up. But I'd say it's a fair shout. Who's the 5th driver for Limitless? It is Russell. Harry, good to have you back, mate. Good to have you back. It's going well. Sundays, I'd be disappointed if it was a Sunday. It's a Saturday. Saturdays are going well. ATL, hello. We did sign another. Yeah, Yang, that's right. It was Yang. I knew there was someone who'd been scouted out of Asia, or I think he'd played in Asia previously. After Snivens has to switch Behrman for Bortoletto. That's fair. Yeah, I don't know. Bordeaux feels a bit of a weird one this week. Is 3x a viable play? Not this weekend. No stop till Brooklyn. Dropping Alonso this week is putting too much priority on budget. We can start to move to points, folks. It's more fun to keep him and pray for he goes. Yeah, agreed. That's kind of the thing. I feel as though Alonso is a fun pick. And he's easy to root for. I was saying this about Albon during the week as well. That when there's I can't speak for everyone, but I like Alonso. It's good to have drivers you like in your team because it makes rooting for them that much better. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate Stroll. I just don't like him.
Your perfect wedding begins at Vistaprint with gorgeous
What? Oh, I was like, what's that sound? It's the weather forecast. See, it's firing off ads. It's firing off noise. I don't know if you guys heard that ad in the background, but so Stroll, I don't hate him like some people do. I just don't think he's fun to root for my F1 fantasy team. So yeah, look at this. On the team calculator, F1 Fantasy Tools, Hub 50 for 50% off your first month of their premium features, which enables you to input your team into their calculator. It's suggesting no moves, and I realistically could be doing that. Terry, how are you? Coffee Corner Motorsport is in the chat. Show some love to Terry's pages. I'm doing well, Terry. I'm doing well. I've gone for Alonso. I think I'm likely locked on Alonso for the reasons I've just mentioned. I think Alonso's fun. He's a fun one this weekend. Apparently, Ryder is releasing FP3 sims soon. Says he's working on them. Huh. There you go. Morning, Peter. New Jersey, just across the Hudson from you. Very nice. Limitless now or never? It's not never. I guess Gavin's asking a similar question as well. I think Limitless is fine for Hungary. I think it's probably, in my opinion, Rain has talked about Limitless in Hungary for longer than I certainly have. I probably kind of only bought into the narrative of it 4 races ago. And that was more of the fact that it was just a a low overtake circuit. So I think, yeah, Gavin, I think it's fine. I mean, let's talk about the other limitless tracks. There aren't many. It's like Zandvoort is relatively low overtake. They had 200 overtakes in 2023, but that was because of that wet weather. So everyone was on different tire compounds. Last year was not high. 22 was not high. Oh, sorry, 20. Yes, last year was not high. 22 was not high. It's hard. It's not easy to overtake. I think there's only one, maybe two DRS zones in Zandvoort. And then Singapore, also low overtake. Risky a little because it's a street track. Not many areas for runoff. It's Singapore or Zandvoort if it's not Hungary for me. I do think, though, by both of those times, people will be on 4A lineups. And so there's that delta that we've always talked about that is going to be much smaller. So I think Hungary is probably the last weekend where Limitless has that advantage over other premium or other non-limitless lineups. Any reason not to 3X as late in the season as possible? I mean, 3X is different to limitless. Like, you're just going for pure points. There's no delta per se. And so I think you want it on a sprint weekend because there's more sessions to score more points. So yeah, I think it's a sprint race for me. Probably not Interlagos. It's likely Qatar, which is where I used it last year, or Circuit of the Americas for me. How do you think this sounds? McLaren, Aston, Stroll, Hulk, Albon, Lawson. Sounds good, Mazuris. Sounds good. What do you think of my prediction? Piastri, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Alonso, Lawson, McLaren, Aston. Yep, looks good, Robin. Audio looks fine. El Vista print indeed. The perfect wedding. Is it better to wait for a sprint for Limitless? Yes. Yes. No, sorry, no. I'm on autopilot, not the chip. I think not necessarily. Days, I would check out my Limitless strategy video I posted to my channel. That'll give you everything you need to know on the Delta. Where in NY? Manhattan. Sino, I think you've got to go McLaren, Ferrari, or McLaren, Mercedes and raise budget. Well, it depends who your 2X is, Sino, because you'd want Piastri in there. I wouldn't be doing a 2X on like a midfield driver. Kaviri, what did you miss? A whole lot of nothing. A whole lot of nothing. I think Ewan's also streaming, but I don't know about Rain. I didn't see a scheduled video for Rain's channel this week. So yeah. I'm going to stop answering Limitless questions because I feel like I've spoken that into existence. If you rewind 5 to 10 minutes, you'll see my stance. Limitless is good. The lineup is McLaren, Ferrari, Norris, 2X, Piastri, Leclerc, Hamilton, and Russell. But rewind 5 minutes, 10 minutes to see my kind of breakdown of the lineup. Rain is on? Okay, Rain is on. I thought so. Yeah. So there's 3 of us streaming 2 hours. There's, yes, it's usually, it's always Rain. Everyone knows Rain is an absolute god tier deadline streamer. Ewan, I think, has just pivoted into doing the 2 hours instead of the 1 hour. And then Terry, who was in the chat before, he'll be on, I would expect, with Zach and Adam in about 30 minutes time. So yeah, wow. Ewan's always on. But he does a lot of midweek streams, which I just don't have time for. So yeah. Should I take a -10 to swap Mercedes for Ferrari? Good question, Nolan. I would say yes without looking at the data. What does the data tell us? 17 points. So yeah, I'd say so. I think you're getting the fastest pit stops. Hamilton and Leclerc both looked pretty comfortable across the practice sessions, which we haven't even looked at. And that is actually something I really wanted to talk about Alonso in just a second. So we will, we'll check that out because I did want to discuss the free practice times. I also need to do my F1 predicts, which I always forget. So let's go to the results. I did see a very good question about New York F1 races, not F1 races, but watching F1 in New York. It was, do you ever go to Failer or Stout in Midtown? I have a few times, John. I've been to Failer most recently. When was this? Saudi? I watched the Saudi race at Failer. And then I watched the Stout race. Sorry, the Stout race? Saudi race at Failer. And then what was after Saudi? Was that Miami? No, I didn't watch Bahrain. I watched Bahrain at Stout and I watched Saudi at Failer. Yeah. Or I think I did. Can't remember. I'm pretty sure. But I've been to both. Great vibes. And I think, I think there's a couple of nice little F1 bars in New York City. So anyway, free practice times. Free practice 1, probably the biggest non-event of all of the practice sessions. But again, kind of as expected, McLaren, Ferrari, right where you'd expect them. Mercedes a little further down the order. You know, Hadjar has been tempting me in the Racing Bulls, but not quite the weekend for him in terms of a viable fantasy asset. But I think that will probably change over the next few race weekends. I'd definitely like to consider bringing him back. Further down the order, Max Verstappen. This is where it gets interesting. So Max Verstappen, the Aston Martins, obviously Fernando wasn't running either with that bad back. And then beyond that, Williams were in no man's land. The kick Sauber were dreadful. So kind of as I expected at FP1. FP2 was more indicative because that was where we saw the Aston Martins really shoot up. Again, McLaren at the top, to be expected. Lando, Oscar separated by 2-3 tenths. Ferrari, again, like Lewis and Charles have just been there in the top 5, top 6. It's exactly what I want from a second constructor. And then that was where yesterday we really saw Max complain on the radio about the car, 14th. Like, you do not see Max Verstappen that far down the order. Fascinatingly, Tsunoda was much further ahead in 9th over a single lap. But yeah, Red Bull, I was speaking a little bit about them in my article for Formula One this week that was posted on their website. Check that out. Strategist, just search F1 Fantasy Strategist Selection and hit the news tab on Google for the latest one on Hungary. But I was bullish on Red Bull only just based on recent form, but this circuit does not suit their car and both drivers were all over the shop. So wouldn't be touching Red Bull this weekend, despite my early premonitions. Everyone else, again, Williams, I think that was the nail in the coffin for Albon. A little bit of hype, but I'm glad we saw the true picture of them before we got to the deadline. It would be disappointing, obviously, if Albon kind of comes in all guns blazing for, free practice and then, boom, stinker in qualifying. So, I think that kind of narrowed down the selection pool a little bit. Mercedes there and thereabouts as expected, but it was the story of the Aston Martins. I thought they were running a low fuel load. I think I heard someone say that yesterday as well. You just never know in practice, but they backed it up again today. And what was most interesting to me was that, I didn't even, as I remember, didn't even post this on Twitter. I'm 30 minutes late. There we go. So people will be like, why aren't you answering my questions on Twitter? I was like, I can't answer your questions on Twitter. I'm answering them on YouTube. So the Aston Martins was really interesting to me. Alonso especially. He was 500ths. Sorry, I was getting my increments correct. Hundreds, thousands. He was 500ths off Kimi, who has been struggling for confidence. I think this is going to be a much better weekend for Kimi, based on the times he's been putting in. Looks very comfortable in the car. He was only 500ths off Kimi and a 10th off Lewis. The Red Bulls are nowhere to be seen either. So I see Fernando Alonso's realistic qualifying result. Also, George Russell, to be fair, wasn't in the top 5. But Fernando's ceiling is a P5 in qualifying. I think that's very possible for him. I think he outdrives Stroll. I think he can definitely get past Kimi. That just leaves the McLarens, the Ferraris, and George Russell. So I think Fernando Alonso has a very decent shot at a top 5 quality result. So yeah. That's the fact of the matter for FP times. Team calculator. I'm going to put my team on the team calculator up. Go back to the chat for a little bit. We'll do F1 predict in 30 minutes. Okay. Rain is also in Limitless. Why Russell over Max? Because Red Bull are nowhere. We should have Sims coming soon for FP3, so that's a good thing. I'm going to drop Behrman for Stroll. Feels like a DNF. Fair enough. Fair enough, Dan. Max looked bad in practice. Correct. Yeah, Russell does look steady, Ben. I agree. NYC watch party? Maybe. Yeah, we do forget F1 Predict. I just think it's a nice to do, the pick'ems, but I'm not going to lose sleep if I forget to submit my picks. I can swap Merc for Ferrari. Nah, Nolan. I just take the -10. I just take the -10, Nolan. Sorry, I know I'm catching up on the chat. I got a bit to get through. Struggling to pick a rookie. I'd be going Lawson, Blake. Between Bordeaux and Lawson. So apparently chatting gets you XP. Oh yeah, that's true. I saw that. My top fans. Who are my top fans? Number one. Oh, a lot of people have 75 XP. I think you get more XP based on, I think there's 14 people that are tied first. Ben, Rafa Koke, Nolan Snivens, Count C. Law, Michael, Sams, Mazurus, Sino, Dean, G. Ticeman, Days, and 2997. So I wonder if it's like you cap out at XP or at your top contributions based on, I don't know. This is a new feature because I saw it on Ewan's channel during the week. Yeah, Jables, I think between Ewan and I and Rain, there's plenty of F1 fantasy content to absorb in the next couple hours. Limitless, definitely, yeah. Horner sacked, Max cooked. I don't think it has anything to do with Horner. I do think they will struggle next year without him, but they're already struggling. So Max is Dunskies. Still hoping people pile in on Albon. You think? I doubt it. I just don't see it. Cobo's saying Albon said they were expecting Hungary to be their worst track alongside Barcelona. So that's Sims are out. Sims are out. I don't think there's really going to be much change though. Let's plug in my team. I know, I want others to fail. The meta has stayed pretty similar. It has, hasn't it? So I'm catching up. I know I'm about 2 minutes behind, guys. I'm sorry. All right, so, with first 30 minutes in, we got 230 of you live in the chat here, 100 likes. And how many subscribers? Almost 9.2. Let's get to 9.2. I mean, it's cringe. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I guess I haven't really had the pleasure of meeting many, if any of you, aside from Miguel, who's just joined. I've met Miguel in Vegas last year, actually, who's just joined the chat. But if it's not obvious enough, I could never be a full-time influencer. Like, I find even when I say it on my videos, I rush through the whole like, subscribe thing. I know it's important for the algorithm and such, but I could not be a full-time influencer. And I suppose, where am I going with that? There was a question out from something, but anyway, like promoting all the like, subscribe. Let's get to this subscriber goal. And I was about to say, let's get to like 250 by the end of the stream. But even that coming out of me makes me cringe up a little bit inside. So anyway, let's review the FP3 sims. They are out. It's max 75 a stream, isn't it? Count, yeah. Chats to get XP. You eat soap. You guys are all XP hoarders. Cobo hit the nail on the head. Everyone's just hoarding their XP to see if they can get the crown. I wish I could make it more than 3. I wish I could make it like 5 or 10. What's the leaderboard? I don't think you can see it on this screen. A place for fans to stand out. The top 3 get special badges in live chat. It resets every stream, so you can always try again. How do you get leaderboard points? You collect experience points by sending live chats or super chats. Okay, got it. Well, you can't send super chats because I turned that feature off. I will have to fix that for next season. But In the meantime, let's talk about the Sims. Let's start with the drivers because I think let's race through the constructors very quickly because that'll take all of about 2 minutes. I think for anyone with a team budget over 120, McLaren, Ferrari just feel like the obvious lock. I think Mercedes, if you've got a lower budget but you still want a couple of budget builders in your team, then Mercedes are perfectly fine. I think it's very convincing though that Ferrari are the best second constructor this weekend. The only B tier I would be thinking about this week is the Aston Martin. They have 27 points. So it's really for 15 million less and only 15 points less. I think you're getting a lot of value. Also going to go up the full 0.6 most likely based on how we've seen them so far. So I think if it's not McLaren Ferrari, it's probably McLaren Aston and then bring in a second B tier, a second A tier driver to go with, say, Piastri or Norris. Now onto the drivers. I still think Piastri deserves the favoritism. I was, deliberating a little bit over him and Norris. Norris has a great qualifying record here. He was on pole last year. Piastri obviously got him before they pit for tyres, and then Norris had to hold off Hamilton by going for the undercut, which undercut Piastri as a result. I still think Oscar, the form, the consistency, he's got ice water in his veins. He's a perfect 2x option at his 26 million price. Wouldn't be looking at the Ferrari drivers unless you've got the constructor. And like that, the only world in which I'd consider someone like Leclerc would be if you had Piastri, Leclerc, Aston Martin. I think the most interesting, as we've talked about already, driver combinations is Fernando Alonso. Now, he's got the highest points projection among all drivers that are not inside the top 4 teams. And I do think for a lot of us, even by force including, I don't even think I force included or excluded any drivers. The Sims recommendations for my team I thought it was 124, only 123.1. Maybe it's my team too. Anyway, the Sims are not suggesting my team to make any transfers. This could very well be the very first time in my F1 fantasy career I make no transfers. Sorry about the mic hit in a single race weekend. I've done weekends in the past where I've made a transfer but burnt another one. So I've had 3 heading into a deadline and then only used 1 and burnt the second one because you can only roll through a maximum of 1 per week to have 3 in any given race week. But I will probably burn both this weekend. Roll 1, burn 1. And I've never done that before. It was going to be potentially an Alonso to Lawson swap, but Alonso looks good. It's one of his best tracks on the calendar. I tweeted something before, actually. I'll bring it up now just to give you context of how good Fernando is around Hungaroring. He's sensational. I haven't been on Twitter for 45 minutes, so the noties are probably popping off. But we'll go over to my profile. Okay, so this is Fernando's record in Hungary. Pretty impressive, right? Even in a midfield car, Alpine, Aston Martin, he's still getting very good results. Top 10s pretty much across the board. Then you go down to his time with Ferrari, pole positions, top like podium results. So he's very strong around here. I back him to finish, 5th, 6th. Boring. Like boring for fantasy that I'm not making a single transfer. But that's kind of the situation with Fernando right now. He's driving well. Aston Martin look good. 8 points for a minimum. Like 8 points is, put it this way, I'd be disappointed based on how the car looks if he didn't. So what's the likelihood on the F1 Fantasy Tools Sims? He's got a 60% chance. His odds were about 53 before, 52 before. So he's got a 60% chance of any price rise. 36 the highest. Does he get to his, I think it's 15 or so. But yeah, I do think, look, put it this way. Lawson is not going up in price. Alonso may go up in price, he may drop. But I think it's unless he DNS, it's not very high. I don't think it's that high. He goes down the full 0.6. I'm prepared to go down, like to wear a 0.2 drop. Like, I wouldn't be stoked about it, but like for the points he's potentially scoring, the upside there, I'm very happy to hold for another week. So it could be a super boring week. And once my team loads, which you'll see in a minute, stage fright from the computer. That's pretty much what I will be on this week as well. All right, back to the chat. Lots to get through. Limitless this weekend. Yes, Asan talked about that before. I'm just switching out Ocon and picking Behrman. Great idea, Peter. I have McLaren and Mercedes. Sounds fine. Would you swap Mercedes for Aston to fit Leclerc? That wouldn't be bad, actually. I don't mind that. I did talk about it before. Constructor. If you genuinely think like Aston Martin have a chance at like 2 drivers inside the top 6, top 7, then yeah, go for it. I don't think so. I don't back both drivers to finish inside the top 7. I think at least one in Aston Martin. But yeah, have you planned that this channel is growing so far? Oh, I think you're talking about the subs, Sino. You're growing so far with the fantasy videos. Helped a lot. Yeah, I'm trying to. There's some things around kind of where I live that makes it a bit more complicated with monetizing this channel. So you guys don't get to have ads. As far as I'm aware, I don't see ads when I watch my videos. So I can't imagine you guys see ads either, which is a good thing. You don't have to sit through crap for 30 seconds before you watch what you want to see. Jumped on Behrman early. Dean says, so we'll be third race burning a transfer. Man, I'm sorry. Miguel, it was great to see you in Vegas for sure. Yeah, Miguel, it was great to meet. I'm glad we had the chance. I won't be going to Vegas this year, but really nice to always bump into people in the community. Donate your Rolexes for a crown. Michael, I don't even have a Rolex to donate. So it might be you stumping up that. Lewis podium would be sweet for sure. I'd love to see it. Jacob, Bortoletto to Lawson. I 100% love that. I think Lawson looks good. Eric's boring. He thinks Eric's not boring. Eric's saying his no transfers are boring. Renan probably no transfers. I'm probably no transfers. Ali's probably no transfers. Not a lot of transfers. Yeah. Bortoletto into Lawson. Jacob sounds good. Cough. What about the weather? Cough. We talked about that before, Justin. There is not expected to be much rain. Okay, my stream is lagging. I think it's fine. It's still showing us the wrong screen. I'm just going to refresh my YouTube studio. I think it's fine. I was really hoping that I'd upgraded my OBS. I changed my network settings. I'm really hoping there's no stream issues this time around. It looks fine. Yeah, it looks fine. Okay. I'm a bit late. The optimal limitless team is triple McLaren, triple Ferrari, and Russell with Norris on the 2X. Albon or Alonso? Alonso should get 8 points. Lawson can't rise. Exactly, MD. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Pete. Fernando has improved since announcing his back injury. It kind of like strikes me a little like Stroll when he broke his wrist a couple seasons ago and then just came through with what was P6, P7. Crazy, hey? Michael Consuelos is on no... I hope I said your name right, my friend. I'm on no transfers, one transfer. Has had 3 transfers from most teams for 2 to 3 weeks. I know. This is my first time I have rolled a transfer in a long time. And... I mean, that's kind of just the fact that Aston Martin looked good. Is it the Adrian Newey effect? 45 minutes into a stream, we've had 125 likes, 9.194 subscribers. I'd love to get to 9.2 in the next 15 minutes. So if you're watching, throw some love on the channel. Throw a like on the video. 125 likes, 250 viewers. So exactly kind of halfway to... Ewan has a really... If you've watched his Q&A streams, he has a really good metric, which I'm going to steal from him. I'm not going to steal loosey-goosey math because that is Ewan's. He should trademark that. But yeah, he usually says in his videos, if if he can get to 50% of the likes compared to the viewers, if that makes sense. So hypothetically, if he's got 100 people watching, 50 likes, that's a nice little benchmark. So yeah, at 130 likes, 270 of you. So yeah, we're getting close to that 50%. Love to see it. Love to see it. Let's get those price rises, Ali. 100%. Nina is asking, I think I should go Gabby over Colapinto for my low budget pick. I prefer Gabby as a driver, Nina. It depends on your budget. If you can deal with eating 0.2 million loss through Gabby, which will probably happen, then I have no problems with going for him. Colapinto just feels like a sergeant disaster waiting to happen. Don Eladio playing F1 Fantasy. That's amazing. Showmanship. Should I keep Alonso or bring in Albon? Keep Alonso. Is Norris the favourite in the playbooks? No, I think Piastri has to be, right? How about Hadjar? No, not this weekend. Stroll or Hulkenberg? I still think Hulkenberg. Thanks, Ali. Glad to see the stream isn't lagging. I didn't think so. I've tried to make sure it hasn't. Albon or Alonso. What would be the best budget building team? Triple Aston Martin, I think. I agree with you, Miguel. Yeah, Triple Aston, McLaren, Piastri, Behrman. Yeah, definitely budget building. Is anyone actually? This would be a great opportunity. Let me answer a couple more questions, and then I'll ask you this one for everyone. I'm seriously considering Limitless. Expect Bortoletto to drop 121 and 980 global. Yeah. Go Limitless. I think like that's what Shashank's just asked. Furlough for State has just asked Limitless. Yeah, I think Limitless is fine. Samir's, I think it's a good idea, 100%. Thumbs, likes are free. Hit the likes. Thank you, Sim. Rain will not even twirl his moustache without half the likes first. Very funny, Michael. All aboard the stroller coaster for this weekend. 100%. All aboard the stroller coaster. Definitely. All right. Now, this is something I wanted to do earlier in the stream because I feel like when I do these videos, obviously I'm talking about my own team, which I don't think is completely like out of touch with the F1 fantasy community because I'm 123 was it 123 million point one. Now I am curious to see what everyone else's budgets are because when I do these videos, I worry that sometimes some people watching them have 115 or some people have 125, 127. And like what I'm actually talking about is not relevant. So for like future videos, I'm curious to see like if there's a huge spread, whether I just do like a low budget lineup, a kind of budget around my price and then like a premium budget lineup. And I know Adam's done this before as well in his articles, but let me know in the chat what your team budget is because I want to use the yardstick for what you guys have to inform how I structure some of my videos in the future. And it's more just to help guide the content for you and all of you watching. And look, I think like most engaged managers are probably people who are watching this on a Saturday morning because we don't get out and touch grass enough. But I'm seeing like a lot of low 120s, high teens, which is kind of right where I expected it to be. Yeah. So yeah, Felix, Anonymous, Jables, Samir, Peter, Michael, You Eat Soap, Snivens, Sino. Yeah, like these are exactly, I'm seeing a lot of 120s, 123, 121. So Mazuris and Gustavo and Auto Romano, like this is helpful. Like seeing these low 110s is helpful for me because I'm catering all my videos to people that have like high teens, low 120s. And I don't want to feel like I'm just creating content for like one small pocket of people with a certain budget. And so seeing people with slightly lower budgets like Ali 123, Miguel's 124, Omid 123. So like I get the impression most people are probably between 119 and 124, but it's people that have, the 116s, the 113s, the 110s, when or how I can refine the content to cater towards everyone and not just people that have a certain kind of bracket of budget. My budget? You haven't bought me dinner yet. Very funny. 126. I know Daniel's crushing it. 126.5. But yeah, like Lulu, great. Like 108. Like that's perfectly fine. You can still, it's fine. Like you started later. It's going to be certainly a little challenging to catch up to people who started in the first race. But at the same time, I want to make sure I can create content for you, Joseph with 116, Danny with 115.1. Like this is helpful. So I get the impression the majority of people have between, as I said before, 118, 119 and 125. But there are slightly lower budget teams, which I want to make sure I'm accounting for in this content. So thank you for you guys putting it in the chat. Mazuros, I get it, man. I get it. You're asking questions because I haven't made videos catered towards you, but I'm going to try and that's the beauty of having 4 weeks off is I was texting Ewan about this probably half an hour before we both went live this morning. Like we've got 4 weeks off. And I was saying to him last year, like I had all of my overlays, like all these visuals you see, like sitting behind the camera and behind the stream and behind that, like this was all done in the summer break last year. And I used the 4 weeks off to pretty much just work on iterate on next year's backgrounds and color schemes and visuals. So that's why, I mean, I'll definitely have and be inspired by accounting for lower budget teams in the content for the rest of the year for sure. But yeah, definitely want to make sure I'm accounting for more people in the community. And yeah, exactly right. You eat soap. I want to, it'd be good to make sure people who are under the 120 have options to consider. Snivens, Commensura, yep, 100%. Those 110 teens, like 115s, 117s, perfect. All right. I know we just absolutely bombarded the chat, but it helps. It absolutely helps. So thank you guys. Back to the questions. Tekers hasn't looked at his team for a few weeks. How did you react to the Son Heung-min news? Yeah, Sonny, I talked about this in the first 5 minutes, MD. I think it's sad because Sonny is one of, if not my favorite Spurs player of all time, but he's had a good run, 10 years. He went out on a high. I don't think his game time, he won't get as many minutes this year. I think he kind of knows his time was coming, or he knew his time was coming in a Spurs shirt. So yeah, it's sad, but I think he'll really enjoy playing I'm not going to say that the MLS is a farmers league, but I think kind of a slower pace, warmer weather, it'll do wonders for someone who's, quite a veteran. So it's sad, but I'm okay with him parting ways with the team. Nolan's asked Lawson or Bortoletto. Lawson for this week. Maybe check simulations. Great suggestion. So, I mean, yeah, who was that? Sino made the suggestion. And I mean, yes, we talk about my team a lot. I get it. I get it. It gets boring after a while. So let's plug in, and you can, as I showed you before, with the premium features, because you can see I'm logged in on the bottom here. You can input your own team, or you import your own teams when you have access to their premium features. If you don't want to do that, it's perfectly fine. You can create a manual team and input a budget. Let's go manual. Well, actually, no. I think you can just... No. So, hypothetically, of course, let's say someone's got Aston Martin, Hulk, Behrman, Stroll, Alonso. Piastri would be on the 2X. What's that? That's the 103. So let's say you've got, let's add 10. So if you had 113 this week, I'll try and answer questions as I'm going through this. Alonso or Behrman? Modest Cowboy? Alonso. Yeah, it's suggesting a Russell, if you can get to maximum budget, let's do 116. What is that output? So 116 means you can afford something like this. It does mean 2 4.5s. I'd probably have Lawson in over Bortoletto just for the budget preservation. At a lower budget, at a lower cost cap, you don't want to be losing value every single week. It's kind of more like budget loss mitigation rather than, it's equally budget gain, but if you with 115 can still get to a lineup like this with Lawson, like this second team, I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's perfectly fine for a 115 budget. And then first upgrade would be like a Colapinto. Second upgrade would be a Lawson. If you're 117, then I'd be going like Colapinto up to like a Behrman if you can get there, or up to a Hulkenberg. That's kind of where the upgrades start to come into play. So yeah, someone asked 116 is very difficult, but I think that's like a starting point. Yeah, MLS is a farmers league, just like Ligue 1, Ligue 1, I should say. Strange that I'm bummed about Son more than Kane. Me too. I think the thing was like Kane is still, one of the OGs as well for Spurs, but I do honestly feel like for Sonny, I just love him. He's just like a nice, genuine guy. So unselect your team one. Yeah. I realize Colapinto on screen on the Rob stream. What's happened? Oh god, I cannot stand Colapinto. I'm not sure if he's just not a good driver. I really want to shift Gasly. Scott, I'd probably go Gasly into Bortoletto for this week. Sorry, not Bortoletto. Gasly into Lawson. Thoughts on Stroll or Behrman? Stroll, Matt, I think. Thinking of Limitless. Go George over Max. Fett. George over Max, Jimmy. Look at the Sims. They have George over Max. Not by much. Like half a point. But still. Yeah. Josh is switching out from his 3x team. I might have to use wildcard to avoid the negative, or should I just keep Gabby and remove Norris and Sauber? Think about it, Josh. I think you want to try and plan like 2 weeks ahead. So, like, is there a driver? If I'm using my wildcard, I'm planning 2 race weekends ahead at a minimum. And if we go over to the budget builder, I think like Lawson probably has to be, if you're wildcarding this week, Lawson has to be in your team because he will be a buy next week. As soon as this DNF for him, Bortoletto and Colapinto all fall off their trailing averages, Lawson, then Bortoletto, then Colapinto will be buys. Lawson the most so, and then Bortoletto after that. So I think like if you're planning ahead and you've got a wildcard, if you're wildcarding out of like a 3x team in Belgium, you want to have, drivers that are likely going to rise in price in Zandvoort, assuming no DNFs. That's why I think Lawson has to be in your team. McLaren, Ferrari probably have to be in your team with Piastri. I know Sainz probably will drop 0.2, hopefully not 0.6. Williams does look dreadful though. The thing is, Sainz when he goes under 6 will be, and Gasly when he goes he'll go down to 4.8. As soon as Gasly hits 4.8, I will want him in my team. Sainz, as soon as he goes down to 5.9 in Zandvoort, I think I'll want him as well. So you kind of just have to plan a couple race weekends ahead as much as possible without sacrificing on budget. Still feeling Norris over Piastri with the 2x, with the Limitless. Yeah, and I say that because, Connor, when you're on Limitless, unless there's an objectively best driver to choose for that weekend, you kind of have to go differential to make up or like bridge the gap between non-Limitless teams. Everyone's going to have Piastri. So I feel as though you want to go slightly different with the 2x, yet Norris as a 2x it's not crazy different. The thing is, there's upside. I think on balance, like if we look at the Sims, they're pretty much equal, like for like. Which one's the team calculator one? Like they're half a point, not even like just over half a point separating them. All it takes is a fastest lap between both of them. All it takes is a faster lap from Norris. You can make the same argument for Piastri, of course, but I just think I I just think if everyone's going Piastri and you can afford Norris on a Limitless, then why wouldn't you, I suppose? Limitless is probably the move this weekend. Yeah. Nev's coming third in the McLaren League, and I feel pressure. I want max points with 121 million. Any thoughts? Well, it depends on your lineup, Nev, but I think if you want to win the McLaren Mini League, if you haven't already used your 3x and your Limitless, you should probably use a chip that increases your points, which is... I'd probably be using no negative this weekend if you're playing solely for the McLaren Mini League, Nev. Like, if you're more fixated on winning that than any other league and you don't mind burning a chip, then I would definitely use a chip. I'm tossing up between Hulk for Stroll and keeping Ferrari versus swapping Ferrari for Merc or Aston. Yeah, do that. K-Meister General. I would probably keep Ferrari, to be honest. Yeah, I would definitely keep Ferrari. What do you think about McLaren and Red Bull, Piastri, Albon, Hulk, Behrman, Stroll? Like, it's fine, Victor. I think Red Bull's a bit of a miss, though. I'd probably go Ferrari and downgrade Albon. That's my pick for your team. Yeah, so upgrade Red Bull to Ferrari and downgrade Albon to whoever. Missed FP3, what went wrong with Albon? Kind of nothing. Like, Williams just was slow. Williams are just slow this weekend. We're 300 viewers as well. We're at the hour mark. Let's keep pushing. An hour to go. I mean, yeah, chat's flying. We're having a great time. 1,500 views across the last hour. So things are going well. Almost at 300 likes. We're getting close to 9.2 subscribers. We're almost got to the 9.2 by 9 o'clock my time. So that's what, 2 o'clock for most of you in the UK. I'm guessing 3 o'clock for, I'm assuming, anyone in Europe. If Norris wins the race, Piastri will somehow still score more points, of course, because that's just how fantasy works, with how overpowered the fastest lap is. I've got Alonso and Bortoletto. Should I replace them with Lawson and Stroll? I'd probably keep Alonso and then take Bortoletto out for Lawson. Drop Alonso for Lawson? No. I'm just gonna update this. No transfers. I am boring. There's not a lot doing this week. Yeah, almost at 9.2 subs. So show some love. Would love to get to 9.5 by season's end. I'm probably have to do more streams to get more subscribers, but it's 9 o'clock here. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and I see an opened White Claw. The sexual tension between me and this White Claw on the coffee table behind me. I mean, it was open from last night, so it'd be kind of grim if I was drinking a White Claw on stream at 9 in the morning. I don't have a problem with, with social drinking at all. But the sexual tension, it's almost like it wants to be finished. It's been open since 10 o'clock last night. Anyway, back to the chat, Rob. Shall we do, it's 9 o'clock, so let's do some F1 predict, then maybe I can finish off that flat White Claw for the sake of spicing up the stream, because it's a Saturday, it's the weekend. Let's have some fun with it. Okay, let's rapid fire questions. I do say I try and get through every single one. Aston or Mercedes? Composed Pickle, why you got to ask the hard questions? Why have you got to ask the hard questions? I'm going to say Mercedes. 30% rain on Sunday. I just pick Russ. Yeah, agreed, MD. And Brandt, yeah, Russ over Verstappen for me. Same again for you, Jazz. Russell definitely over Verstappen. Will you drop Behrman in order to have Alonso, Stroll, Lawson? Yes. Yes, Nico, I would drop Behrman for that. Alonso, Stroll, Lawson. Aston Martin look good. Commencia, Copper, 10-point penalty to go. Triple Aston and Behrman, or triple Aston existing Lawson? Thanks in advance, mate. Many a tiny teddy for your efforts. Oh, tiny teddies. I miss those. I would probably go no 10-point penalty. Don't go 10-point penalty. I would just hold, man. A few minutes behind, but 117 budget. I'm touching a lot of grass, so missed a few deadlines. Oh, I've touched so much. I need to touch grass is what I'm saying. The guys that did 3x, Piastri, 2x, Hulk with the podium are winning McLaren Mini League. I'm 13th, but have no chance of winning it. Shame, Michael. You're doing well, though. I know Rain's like 400th, but hasn't used his limitless, so he's hoping for a big delta this weekend. Stroll or Alonso, can't do both. I'd probably go Stroll over Alonso, just because like the guaranteed budget rise. Shoo-wee. All right, I'll do it in a sec. What did the pup have for brekkie today? Oh, I was dog sitting on the last stream. I had a dog on stream. That's not my dog. I'm guessing it just had dry food. Any chips in play? None for me. Would you do 3x this week? No, I would not. Bowie knife. Daniel Letard has Ferrari, Bortoletto into Aston and Leclerc, Hamilton. 20-point loss for 100%, 0.6 AS budget. I don't think the 20-point loss is worth it. Jeremy, my man, how are you? It's kind of late in New Zealand, isn't it? Commitment. Is it? It would have to be well after midnight. It'd be like 1 or 2 in the morning in New Zealand. Mercedes over Aston Martin, composed pickle. Limitless this weekend, Justin? Absolutely. Yeah, I think Mercedes over Aston Martin. Which top 5 for Limitless? This is my top 5 for Limitless. I'm going to change this. I'm going to change these ones. So, no. Favorite. Oh, let's not use American English. Let's use British English. Oh, bro, I'm typing way too fast. Ferrari, Ast, Red. I mean, you gotta put McLaren first, obviously. And then, favorite midfield drivers. Gotta go Hulk, Stroll, Alonso, Behrman, Lawson, Bortoletto, Colapinto. Yeah. All right. I don't think I missed anyone, did I? Nah, I don't think so. No one's really template, but I'm just gonna throw those up so people can. All right. What else is there? 400 of you. So we're soaring. We got quite a few up in the chat. The stream isn't lagging, I don't think, even though the YouTube studio is. 4A lineup shift is the four template assets. 4A tier assets that people will be looking at. All right. Back to the chat. No max in Limitless? No max in Limitless. Race pace of RB versus Mercedes? I think Mercedes, right? If I have McLaren, Mercedes, 2 Piastri, I have 3 free transfers. Please do a simulation. I just jump on F1 Fantasy Tools, Thomas. They can... YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will experience buffering. That's not good. I hope it's fine. My stream looks okay, but like OBS, YouTube, it has its moments. So apologies. I'm really sorry if it's just cooking itself. Might be why the viewer count's dipping a little bit, because the stream is absolutely stinking it up. But anyway, if you guys are still here and want to listen to me talk, then great. Are we sure about counting out Max for Limitless? Bro never fails. I mean, he hasn't looked great lately. Yeah, the Limitless Delta is definitely worth it this week. Would you change Behrman for Alonso? Well, I mean, I've ordered it based on William. Yeah, Alonso. You're playing for Alonso. You're kind of going for the upside with the points. I mean, that's kind of my play. So yeah, we'll see. You could interchange Behrman and Alonso, I think. But I have Hülkenberg still as my favorite for the reasons previously mentioned. Triple Aston is a little risky. Definitely is. All right, good. Stream's working. The goal. I would love to have 10K subs. We've just crossed 9.2. I would love to have 10K subs by the end of the year, but I know my subscriber base better than anyone. And to be honest, as much as I would really enjoy, I mean, it'd be a great milestone. It'd be nice to reach it by year end, but I've kept close tabs on my subscriber change over the last kind of few weeks, and it's very noticeable as soon as we go through those weeks off, and the summer break's gonna hit me for 6. But as soon as we go through these big breaks between race weekends, it takes a long time to build up, more subscribers. The biggest, as you'd expect, the biggest increase always comes in the lead up to the first race of the season and the first few races after that. But 9.2, I'm not complaining. I'm very happy. I mean, it's not something I do for a living. I do it for a hobby, and I love it. And I love it more than my full-time job. But it's wonderful. The numbers have never been like a huge motivating factor. I just enjoy doing it. So you guys are what makes it enjoyable, and I'm just glad the F1 fantasy community, generally speaking, is so wonderful. I've done videos, as you've seen on my channel, with Tom, Ewan, Rain. I obviously streamed with Adam and Terry for a year and a half before this year. I've met a few of you in person, which is obviously wonderful. I do it because I enjoy it. The subscriber milestones and the likes are, additional, but not the driving factor for why I do this on Saturdays. Long story short, I need to touch grass. But good to hear the stream is working in Australia, in India, it's in Europe. Great. Is 3x boost a good idea this weekend? No, it is not. Behrman to Lawson an option for sure. I still think I prefer Behrman though. Is a Delta over 70 worth it for Limitless? I'd say let's just say like 70 is probably as low a Delta as I'd want it to be. What did I do here? If you're using Limitless, you really want a Delta of above 90 to 100 points. Like, I think that's what I would define as a successful Limitless weekend. But yeah. Chris, great to have you back, man. 10:40 in Adelaide, which means it's always 30 minutes ahead of Sydney, 30 minutes behind Sydney, because that's where I'm from. First live stream, yeah, for quite some time. Why is the Discord not more Sims? No, it's just Rain's Discord. 10K manifesting. Hundo P. This channel will pop off for Singapore, Austin, Mexico, Interlagos, Vegas, Qatar. I hope so. I won't be streaming in Austin because I'll be at the race most likely. But yeah. Silent Sinner, like, I can monetize, but there's how do I say it? I'm not allowed to because I'm on a visa for my full-time job in the US, so I can't monetize other income streams, if that makes sense. But as soon as I move back to Australia or elsewhere in the world, then I need to speak to someone at YouTube and figure out that monetization. Get some member streams going, the good stuff that every other. Speaking of streams and speaking of content, I recorded yesterday an interview with someone on my channel. It was about a 30, 45-minute chat. And this guy, I mean, many of you probably don't know him, and I'm not going to tell you. You might be able to guess. But this guy has, 340, 350,000 subscribers and followers across YouTube and Twitter. He is a thought leader and pretty recognizable face in the fantasy sports space. If you follow the Premier League and you play FPL, you probably know him. And for 30 minutes, we talked about not actually anything to do with the Premier League. He is doing a master's in psychology at the moment around sports in general. So yeah, sports in general, obviously, but has also actually published a book. If I'm giving away hints, you might actually know who I'm talking about. But he's actually published a book about psychology in fantasy sports. And I thought it would be very relevant and useful Thought leader, I want to throw up. Lol, that's me speaking consultant chat because that's literally what I do for a living. We spoke for 45 minutes about sports psychology, and it was without a doubt the most fascinating conversation I've had in any world around fantasy sports, how you can manage strategy, your mindset. Yeah, I mean, you guys have guessed it. You guys have guessed it. But yes, it was Raptor. And it was honestly the most enjoyable conversation I've had in a long time about fantasy sports generally. It was so insightful. Ross had so many interesting things to share. I'm really looking forward to publishing the video next week. So I know he's in the thick of a preseason wave of FPL content, but I'm really, really looking forward to sharing that with you guys, because Ross and I have been buddies, or like Twitter buddies, for a few years. And yeah, it's gonna be a good video. I'm really pumped about it. So I hope you guys take something out of it as well, just around like processing bad results in fantasy sports and managing kind of strategy, expectations, data versus eye test, and artificial intelligence in fantasy sports as well. We talk about that for about 5-10 minutes. So it's an interesting conversation. If you guys play FPL, then you definitely know who Ross is. But if you don't, you soon will know. I would have loved to have had Tomo, Mike. I would have loved to have had Tomo. Tomo's, yeah, if anyone, I'm sure plenty of people subscribe to Tomo McCluskey, but he is definitely my favorite F1 kind of YouTuberist, as he has termed it. So yeah, I guess you guys on stream get an exciting little scoop before the video gets published next week. So that's the beauty of coming onto these live streams. You get those kind of exclusives. So yeah. Anyway, so what do we got? We got 45 minutes. Have we locked in our teams? Because I haven't locked in nothing, and I don't think I will. I'll throw my screen for my team back up. That's it. That's probably the team. Look, I've even drafted a message, like my tweet. I haven't actually posted the screenshot, but this is what I have. I'm just finding the draft. Can you see that? It's a bit blurry, but yeah, that's the tweet ready to go. No transfers. A boring week. We'll have 3 after the summer break. All right, we'll do some questions, and then we'll do a quick FPL draft, all of 2 minutes. Then we'll do my F1 predict. Will I use the no negative chip this week? I used mine in Miami, but I would definitely save it for Brazil if you haven't used it. You say you're not making moves. What's your current team? That's my team. Is it on screen? Sorry, John. Yeah, it's on. Yep, sorry. I moved it up for you. Can't get to Ferrari from Merc without dropping Hulk. Are they worth it over him? Yes. I'd keep I'd keep Merc for 1 week, get the Hulk rise, and then move him out next week. Hulk's probably off the menu next week. Next race. I say next week, but that's like weeks away. Thomas, let's not spam the chat. I'll get to your questions. If I have McLaren and Mercedes, 2x Piastri, Hadjar, Bortoletto, Gasly, Hulk, I have 3 transfers and 1.3. Please do a simulation. Mate, like, if you keep spamming the chat, I'm gonna have to moderate you, Thomas. I'm sorry. Put user in timeout. Like, I will answer questions, but don't put the question in 17 times, please. It makes it hard for everyone else who wants to ask questions visible. Okay. Alonso worth budget risk over Lawson? Yeah, I think it is, Jackson. I think there's a lot of upside for Alonso's points this weekend. Chasing green arrows with Johnny. I don't watch Johnny. Is it Butici? I don't watch Johnny's content. We'll do FPL in just a second. I have your team, but with 3.1 in the bank, Williams saying, any moves you'd make? Not really. That's the problem. Limitless. Nathan, straight red card, sin bin. Yeah. Like, I mean, Yeah, top 10K. Yeah, I think like that's the thing. Like I will do everything I can to get two questions. I know I missed some, and that's just unfortunately the problem when you have 200 people watching. But I tell you what, if you want a question answered, comment I'm not saying do it right now, but I will answer if you've not noticed, I will answer every single question posted on my YouTube videos. And so if you want a question answered, I will 100% answer that. It's harder to do in the streams because there are more people here, but when you're spamming the chat, I hate doing it. I've only had to do it twice this entire season, and both times it's been someone who's posted a question probably 15 times in a very short period of time. Daniel's asked, drop Aston and Alonso for Ferrari and Lawson. Yeah, I'd go the Ferrari Lawson, Daniel. Nolan, I think, I think I answered. I'd go the Ferrari for one more week if you can. Leclerc or Hamilton? Leclerc. I have your team. William has 3.1 in the bank. So yeah, you've got so much more budget, William. Wow. You must be well set up for the later in the year. What do you like? Albon would feel like a natural pivot from like a Behrman into an Albon, but Williams looked dreadful. So I'd probably roll, to be honest. You couldn't get to like Norris, I suppose. Oh, I didn't do my White Claw either. It's peach flavored. Should we do a shoey? Maybe you should do a shoey. Leclerc or Hamilton? Leclerc. Hitanch. Leclerc, definitely. All right. How about this? We'll do a quick FPL draft, and I'm not going to put it up. I haven't actually looked at my draft in over a week since the game went live. So we will do it for all of 2 minutes because this is a F1 fantasy stream, not an FPL stream. And 250 of you watching, I'd say most of you don't care about FPL, but there are a few in there, and just want to do the decent thing. Aussie Rob in New York doing a shoey. Absolute class. Hundo P. I've already logged in. I should be doing this off screen. You guys don't want to see the login screens, do you? Do you? I don't want to put it in a shoe, to be honest. I really don't want to put it in a shoe. This UI is dreadful. This is my team. This was my team from a week ago. I haven't touched it since I haven't touched this team since I locked it in when the game went live. So I'm going to leave it on for 10 seconds and then we're going straight back to F1 Fantasy because this is not an FPL stream. But you can pause the video if you want to. All right, so this is a flat White Claw from last night. That was sitting on. I had it with a pizza, and I left it half untouched. I didn't even put it in the trash. I just. All right, F it. We're doing a shoey. No one asked for it. Double Brighton attack. Grim. We're doing a shoey. Nobody asked for it, but we're going to do it anyway. This Air Force is not going to enjoy this. Last time I did a shoey would have been with Adam and Terry. Probably. I mean, look, it's not a fun. It's a fun stream. You guys are awesome. But it's like. There's nothing to talk about. I'm just trying to say, like, there's nothing to talk about this stream because it's either Lawson in for Alonso or do nothing, and like we can go around in circles about that. For nice profile pic sorted. Was that for bottoms up? All right, this Air Force. I don't want to put it in this. I'm probably wearing this shoe later today, and I don't want to put it in my gym shoe. Oh, I threw out my gross shoes. All right, fine. Oh, this is disgusting. Can you hear it like trickle in? Oh, this is gross. It's leaking. It's leaking through the shoe. Oh, no. Oh, I want to throw up. That is gross. There's a little bit left behind. Oh, Doing a shoey at 9 o'clock in your living room by yourself is so grim, so sad. There was nothing enjoyable about that whatsoever. I've got White Claw all over myself. Disgusting. Disgusting. Look, that's disgusting. I'm feral. But look, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't think anyone enjoyed it. Honestly, throw a dislike on the channel. Unsubscribe if you're not new around here. All right, questions. Oh, that was terrible. That was terrible. It was an old White Claw. Yep. Last time I did a shoey was when two of us had knocked out, I want to say, Gain. Either way, it won me a GPP. Oh, UFC fan in the chat. Let's go. Let's go, Daniels. Ollie or Stroll? Stroll. Yeah, Stroll. The man is... I'm losing it. I'm losing my marbles. I'm in a sorry state. I'm in a sorry state. All right. Disgusting. So bogan of you, but it was classic. Nominate Rain. I nominate Rain to do a shoey. He will not do a shoey. I think everyone in the F1 fantasy community is very genuine, and I'd like to think I'm the same, but it was unprompted. I literally turned around. I saw that White Claw staring me down, and I just said to myself, I'm going to be feral on stream, and people will probably... Like, I'm waiting for the subscriber count to go down, but somehow it's still going up. So I'm not doing something wrong, but I'm probably also not doing something right. Oh, that smells terrible. Oh, well. It went through the shoe. Russell or Max for Limitless? Russell Lewis. What A tier assets? Okay. Now let's talk about strategy for a little bit, because I genuinely think that come summer break, yes, I'll have 3 transfers. Yes, I have the wild card, so I love that flexibility. But I also don't know... like where this could go in terms of what my team looks like. I think if you have, and I've got this on screen here, right? Yeah, sorry, I haven't got my team up. But like, read the item number 4. If you don't have a wildcard available, you should definitely plan to have 3 transfers available for the 4A. So that 4A, for those of you that don't know, is like 4 A tier assets. So 2 premium drivers, 2 premium constructors. How I plan to tackle Zoidberg unsubscribed. How I plan to tackle these next few weeks is largely dictated by who I expect to rise and fall. And I think in terms of the falling assets, I talked about this before, Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly. Both of which, when you look at the budget builder, I'll bring my browser up so you can see what I'm referring to. So budget builder, Gasly will be most likely 4.8 after Zandvoort. Sainz will be 5.9 most likely, maybe 5, maybe 6.3, still attainable. I want both of these guys and probably Lawson in my team once I get enough money to pivot into a 4A, sorry. So this will probably be my team in Zandvoort, which is why keeping Alonso, moving out of Lawson is probably, if I didn't have a wild card, I would 100% be locked on moving Alonso out for Lawson if I didn't have a wild card. But because I do, I have that flexibility. And I say that because we will need 4.5 assets to afford this 4A lineup. So if I didn't have a wild card, which probably is most of you, I'd say not most of you, some of you, this is kind of what I'd want my team to be. I know Alonso moving off him seems like a risky play. It is a little bit. You kind of have to accept you might have to sacrifice some points. And I'm well aware of the fact that based on how Aston's looking this weekend, they could be good for points. However, assuming I didn't have a wild card, I would want this because I would still have 3 transfers and most likely need to move out these 3 drivers here to bring in another premium driver and 2 other budget guys. So let's assume this is what my team arriving in Zandvoort looks like. Most people will want to, if they can afford it, position themselves for a 4A. Russell, based on price alone, is the cheapest of the reliable 4As. You can include Kimi is now well below the $18 million threshold. So if you want someone, and assuming his confidence comes back, that can rise 0.6 with good results, I think Kimi's great for that. You got budget and you got points. Like a 0.6 rise for a driver that's scoring 15 to 20 points is pretty decent. But I think most people are going to be looking at both Leclerc and Russell instead. So let's say we get to Zandvoort, right? And assuming things go as expected, a lot of people which are on these 3 drivers at the moment will probably want to move out of that. I can't actually afford Russell. And I still think even with Bortoletto, who will be 4.5 by Zandvoort, I'm still going to be 2.4 short. I don't think I'm going to be able to make that up in one race week. And so unless of course Russell goes down, I wouldn't be able to get to that in one race week. And having 3 4.5s doesn't really inspire me with a lot of confidence. So I think realistically the earliest I'll be able to get to the 4A will be what's the week after Zandvoort? Is it Monza? It's Monza, right? It's Monza and then Singapore. Monza then Baku and then Singapore. Yeah, so I think Monza at the earliest feels like when I'm able to get to something like this. You'd have to see a huge change of fortunes for Mercedes to really consider them in this second slot. But right now, Ferrari feel like a no-brainer, which is why Antonelli for a week or 2 could be good. Sorry, Theo. Yeah, 4A is 4A tier assets, so above $18 million. So like I could do this pretty comfortably. And I also wouldn't need to so these guys are all 9. So I actually wouldn't be against the idea of having, if I can afford it, or for anyone that can afford it, having something like this. I don't mind it. Hulkenberg's probably a sell though. That's the thing. I think Sainz will be good in Zandvoort. So I could do that in 3 moves. And where does that leave me? Probably Bortoletto 4.5. Like, I don't mind this at all. Gasly, yeah. So Gasly's in a void until after the Dutch Grand Prix. But I could easily, with 3 transfers, pivot into something like that. I don't mind that at all. Which is why having Lawson this week makes a lot of sense. Because let's just reset my team. We've got 30 minutes until the deadline. Lock it in. I'm sorry, I know questions are coming through. I'll get to them. We got 265. Sorry, I'm just spending 5 minutes pre-planning my lineup. So that's the thing. Not using a transfer on a 4.5 asset this week really inhibits your flexibility to pivot into, say, a Kimi Antonelli in Zandvoort. I'm not saying it's a definite lock, but having the option makes a lot of sense because I fully expect in Zandvoort, Hulkenberg is a sell. Behrman's probably a sell. I'd expect Stroll is probably a sell. And Ewan's so much better at articulating this because of Pat F1's simulations. I mean, hell, Albon could be a buy in Zandvoort too. But we take Hulkenberg's 45, Stroll's 22, and Behrman's 14 off their averages. Let's just say, and let's assume this R12, let's assume this is what these guys score in Hungary. So if these guys all score 7 in Hungary, I'm just giving them arbitrary values. Behrman, Stroll, and Hulkenberg need a minimum rise, need to score these amounts, which I think's not attainable for any of them. And so that's why getting ahead 1 week early of a $4.5 million asset makes a lot of sense to me if you don't have a wild card. But I do, so I'm okay with that. Like, and then let's say Signs gets like a 3, he will drop. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't think next week's going to be a big like budget gaining, or like Zandvoort's going to be a big budget gaining week. Let's put Alonso for like 9, hypothetically. So Alonso could be like, I'm just pulling out arbitrary numbers here, right? These guys, I think this week in Zandvoort it's going to be very hard to squeeze out value, which is why the appeal of Lawson, Bortoleto, etc. And Zandvoort generally probably won't be big budget gaining weeks. It's going to be all about budget preservation. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I'm going to refresh the screen. I think if I didn't have wildcard, Alonso would be out this week for me. But I do, so I like to have that flexibility. Anyway, back to the chat. 283 of you. We got questions to get through. We got 30 minutes. We're going to do F1 Predict in like 3 seconds. I got a fair way to get back. I'm going to close the poll, but we're at 250 likes, 283 of you. What a stream so far. I still feel sick after that shoey. I probably caught something. It's not good. Alonso Behrman this week. Alonso. Yeah. So Australian go boy, no negative worth it. No, save it. The forecast for this week is it'll be raining tomorrow, but not during the race. It looks like. All right, g'day Obi. Forgot to make a transfer last race, so I still have Bortoleto with 3 transfers. You reckon Bortoleto or Lawson? I'd go Lawson. Limitless, why Russell and not Max? Because Red Bull look lost at sea at the moment. Is there a chance of rain? Yes. What are the chances of Kimi outscoring Russell and Verstappen this week? Asking for a friend. I think he'll outscore Max. I don't know if he'll outscore George. Limitless this week? Yeah, 100%. 100%. Would you say this week is a good week for building budget? Yes. Mixed. I think like Hulk, Behrman, Stroll, definitely. But otherwise, it's not a great week. It's not a great week. And I think Zandvoort is going to be even worse because whenever you have one low overtake track going into another low overtake track, it's all about budget preservation. So Lawson, Bortoleto next week are going to be locks. I think it'll be, yeah. Like, I have 3 transfers next week. Can I even afford Kimi and 2 4.5s? I can. I could realistically do something like this in next week. That could be my team next week. I wouldn't be surprised if that's my team next week. Calling it early. But, bookmark it. I did a shoey for what? No reason, Obi. I did a shoey. This stream needed some spice, and we gave it spice and a tinge of peach. What's a shoey? Modest Cowboy? I would rewind 15 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes. You'll see exactly what a shoey is. Adam and Zach picking Law and Prep to go 4A after summer. Yeah, but Zach can. I don't think Adam can. I think Adam's got a lower budget than I do. Let's have a look. I know Zach can afford that already. I get it. Prepping for a week ahead, but I got the wild card. They don't. So I don't have a problem, with doing it. And like I said, if it's kind of an aggressive move to do it with 3 4.5s. That's the only thing. I think I get it from a point standpoint. Oh, we might be able to get there. I'm not worried. I'm not desperate to get George Russell in. And if hypothetically, if Mercedes really do look that good, where George Russell is like a race winner in Zandvoort, then I'm just going to wildcard. I'll bring in the Mercedes Constructor. So like, I get it. I get their forward planning, but like, I don't need to worry as much. And that's why I said, if you don't have wildcard, you should be thinking a week or two ahead by moving out Alonso or Behrman for a Lawson. What if you get Ferrari out for Mercedes? I think that's fine, but Behrman or Alonso? I think I said Alonso. Since I'm at 112, do you think I should just stick with McLaren, Ferrari, Piastri, and whatever else I can get? Yeah. Or do Aston Martin. Give him another example. So I think I'm lost on that one, Felix. Casual shoe with a flat, warm White Claw. Yeah, grim. Max or Russell? Russell for Limitless. What did you drink with the shoey? It was a White Claw, Obi. It was a peach White Claw. If that's not culture, I don't know what is. Locking in McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Hulk, Alonso, Behrman, Lawson. Yeah, looks good, Nolan. I really like that, actually. I really like that. Kevin Yong is saying Stroll and Colapinto or Alonso, Behrman. If you're... Kevin, put it this way. If you're low on budget, I'd be going for the Colapinto Stroll or the Lawson Stroll. Probably Lawson over Colapinto. But if you want to play for the points, then I think Alonso, Behrman slightly better. Jeremy can get to Piastri, Antonelli, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Lawson, McLaren, Mercedes. Going to go for it. Do it. Love that, Jeremy. I mean, you've got the budget to. That's a great team, Jeremy. I don't think I can get to that because that would mean sacrificing Stroll and Behrman, right? I don't think I can afford that. No, you got 3 more million. Yeah. See, I can't get to that, but must be nice. All right. So, that's my team 1. That's probably not changing. I made my transfers for team 2 before. I'm just going to make sure they're locked in. So in this one, I think what did I do here? I took Ocon out. I put Stroll in. And then on this one, I took Alonso out and put Lawson in. But as you can tell, the bones of the team are more or less exactly the same in all 3 of them. Piastri, Hulkenberg, Stroll, McLaren, Ferrari. So yeah, that's the. I'm gonna lock my team in. I'm gonna put a screenshot. No transfers. Kind of wild, don't you think? At least people on Twitter can see. Why not Verstappen? I just don't trust Red Bull this weekend. The culture was in the shoe. I am the culture. When to Limitless, if not now? Singapore, Zandvoort, Circuit of the Americas. They're my picks. All right, I'm just going to screenshot this. I've got the tweet ready to go. I'm just going to also put F1 TV on my phone, on my other phone, so I can make sure there's nothing coming through right before the deadline. Always got to get that late mail. Okay. Drafts, no transfers, boring week. So the post is up. Done. I'll maybe lose money only with Ocon. So then, could you transfer him out? Or is it not possible? Radio Paddock. All right, on to F1 Predict. We're taking the Hobbits to Isengard. See, that's the kind of random crap that goes through my mind on a Saturday morning. All right, 17 minutes. Milk first is my problem. White Claw, oof. So I think Michael's exposed himself as the milk first. I'm not going to say it. It's not a mean word. Just big milk first proponent. Michael Consuelos. Colapinto or Lawson? Lawson, Derek. Would you wildcard instead of getting a -10? Allison, it would depend on if you've taken and plan to take -10s already this season. So I would say probably yes, because I don't think really any world in which -20s are viable this season. So I'd probably be taking a wild card. All right, predict the podium for the Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm going to say Norris, Piastri. Nah, not Verstappen. I will probably go. I want to say Ferrari. No, Lewis is too slow. Yeah, let's go, Charles. Alonso? No. Alonso? No. I shouldn't, should I? Let's see. Nah, I'll just go Charles. I'm boring. You guys should know me by now. I'm boring. IR, Stroller, Hulkenberg. Sorry, Obi, can't remember if I answered this, but with Limitless 2x on Piastri or Norris? Only because of that differential, Obi. That's the sole reason. Who will take pole position? Norris. Who will qualify highest for the Grand Prix? Nico. Limitless, if I have Gasly, if that's the only asset likely to drop, then yeah, I probably would. Will Haas get 2 cars into Q2? No. Stroll or keep Behrman? Stroll. All right. At the moment, I have Piastri, Hulkenberg, Alonso, Behrman, Ocon, McLaren, Ferrari, Radio Paddock. I think that sounds good. That's for my team 3. I got a killer budget for that team. Yeah, nice, Jeremy. Nice. Hulk for me. Yeah, okay. Who will finish ahead in the race? Charles, without a doubt. I'm going to put the 2x on that. I'm pretty certain. Might change it, though. Who will set the fastest pit stop time of the race? I want to say Red Bull, but I think Ferrari are back on it this weekend. Polls? Polls for what? Stroll or keep Behrman? Stroll. Stroll or Hulk? Stroll or Alonso? Stroll. Limitless if I have Gasly? Probably. Worth doing Bortoletto to Colapinto? I'd be doing Bortoletto to Lawson, Jeff. I wouldn't be going near Colapinto. Is Triple Aston bad? No, it's not bad at all. Max or George? George. Will there be a safety car during the Grand Prix? I don't know what the DNF history is at this track, but I'm going to say yes. I would love to go bowling again like we did in 2021. Limitless this weekend, Gurav? Yes. Limitless team, triple McLaren, triple Ferrari, and George Russell. Who will set the fastest time of the race? Piastri. It's like whoever wins doesn't get the fastest lap. Whoever sets the fastest lap doesn't win. That feels like the theme lately. Chat could vote a bit, I guess. These are clear. Okay. Well, I don't want to really set a poll up for every question because I feel like that's not the most productive use of time, but yeah, I don't know. If you guys want to opine, sorry, I know I'm racing through these. All right. I don't want to do that one. I will say let's do a couple of streams. We can do a couple of streams. We got 260 still here, so it's not too bad. 263 likes, 9.2k subs. Be great to get to 9225 by the end of the stream if anyone's watching and enjoying the content. Yeah, I don't think I need to do a poll. I'm just going to lock these in, to be honest. It's not that exciting. F1 Predict, no one really cares about F1 Predict. I do, kind of, not really. Which team will score more points? Williams. No. Alpine. Williams look dreadful. Most places gained by a driver in the race, more than 5, less than, more than 6.5, less than 6.5, less than 6.5. Finish. All right. These are about as hard and fast as they can get. So now that's done. Let's close that. Yeah, my Limitless team is up. I had it up before. I mean, I've talked about Limitless like pretty much all like a fair bit this stream. Here we go. There you go. That's my Limitless team. Or that would be my suggested Limitless team. Max or Russell. There you go. Stroll or Hulk. I mean, I'm just gonna bloody hell. I'm just gonna Robert. Yeah, there you go. If you want to deliberate over one or another, that should do it for you. And yeah, no transfers. Budget gains threshold. Neither of them are gaining budget this week, Obi, unfortunately. I think it's like both have to score at least 20-25. No, of course. Thank you, Felix. Thank you for coming through. I know people will probably start dropping off in the next 5-10, so make sure you leave a like before you go as a donation to the channel. That's all I'll ask. No monetary donation, just a social donation. Been trying to keep tabs on the chat. I know it kind of went a bit chaotic at like 9 o'clock, so 50 minutes ago, my time. I did lose a couple of questions in there, but really do try and make the most of getting to every single one. I didn't even put I'm going to put the TV on with the mute button. You can probably hear the tapping in the background, but no, I don't want FP3. Max Verstappen. Wow, Nijat. Piastri, Leclerc, McLaren, Ferrari. Very nice. Who did I pick for question 10? I don't even know, Days, and I don't really... Oh. Hang on. My F1 TV is cooking it. There we go. There you go. Well, we are on the F1 TV live broadcast. Have you not used Limitless? I have. Look at the bottom left. Mivizi. Limitless, no negative, already used. So it's Alan Permain speaking to Loro Barretto. Oh, was it more than 6.5? I said less than 6.5. I don't think anyone... Yeah, I don't think anyone gains more than 6.5 positions. But yeah, we've had like almost 3,000 viewers come through in the last couple hours. It's a quieter stream for sure. It's the week before the summer break. No one's doing shoeies except this guy. There's not a lot of decisions to be made from free practice. No chips are flying. It's a pretty not that exciting track, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I just think it's going to be just one of those weeks like where things are just not doing all that much. So yeah, 7 minutes. Get those teams locked in. I'm gonna put my I'm not making transfers. This is the first time I've ever not had not had a transfer made. So look, Ewan is live. I've got on my other screen like Ewan's live, Fanamp's live, Rain's live. Rain's crushing it, man. Rain's crushing it. I like Rain. He's a good guy. He's a bright mind. He's a bright mind in F1 fantasy. Yeah, so thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Sim Saladin, a regular who stops by. Days, Obi, thank you so much. I'll use Russell. I think, look, I don't, sorry, that was a loud clap. Hopefully I didn't burst your eardrums. I don't think there's anything wrong with Max on a Limitless. Like, I will say, when you're on Limitless, you want to be going for the most expensive assets to make the most of the opportunity with being able to afford them for that 1 week. But Red Bull looks so grossly off the pace. Like, it's if Max was like, this is FP3, was Max wasn't even in the top 10. If Max was inside, the top 9, top 8, then yeah, I wouldn't hesitate. But he was P12 today. He was P14 yesterday. It's just like, yes, Max is good. He'll probably be in Q3, but goodness me, he doesn't look with it. I mean, I'll eat my words. If he puts it on pole, then yeah, I'll eat my words. But yeah, it's I just don't back him on Limitless this week. F1 broadcast is better than Sky. I'm not a Sky fan. Thank you, Ali. Come on, Aston. Exactly. Get in. What's the 4A thing? The 4A is... sorry, I'm catching up again. 4A and B is for A-tier assets. So 2 premium drivers, 2 premium constructors. It could be like a Piastri, Russell, McLaren, Ferrari, Piastri, Leclerc, McLaren, Mercedes. Like you have 4 A's as in 4 assets above 18 million. Thank you, Zhao. Thank you for dropping through. Contemplating if Ocon makes Q2. Said yes. I mean, he might. Yes. Felix answered. Thank you, Felix. Thank you, Claudio. Appreciate it, mate. I mean, yeah, it's been a good stream. I will say, 200 of you still here, almost at 300 likes. So yeah, if you're on your way out, please do drop a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We got an extra 20 subs in this video. I don't think any of them came to see me do a shoey, but somehow people stick around for this kind of nonsense. So pre-show is cloud watching. You're right. We're just looking at clouds, aren't we? But yeah, it's been a good stream. Almost at 3K viewers over the last 2 hours. Still 200 of you here. I think quite a few people rooting for Aston Martin. I don't think I'm going for the constructor, but like hoping for a good weekend for both Alonso and Stroll. Yeah, it's going to be a good race weekend. The TV, I think they're just starting out now, or like the broadcast is just starting out now. Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate you coming through, man. Axis, sorry, I didn't see your question. Thank you for plugging it. What was it? My team is Norris, Hulkenberg, Alonso, Ocon, Lawson, McLaren, VCARB. I have a cost cap of 107.5. What do I do? Well, let's just do a full reset. Let's just do 107.5 then. And I reckon it will tell you Aston Martin. It will tell you Aston Martin. Oh, it's saying... Oh, I would probably be... I don't know about Mercedes. So like hypothetically, Axes. So you've got 203 at 107. What if we force include Aston? 203 at 0.2. If we force include Aston... well, no, we don't want that. No, you don't want Gasly. Yeah, I'd probably be going for something like this. Axis. I'd be going for something like this, Axis. Or just go the Mercedes route. 107 with wildcard. This is... NH, I'd be going for the team 2, to be honest. This one right here. The McLaren, Aston, Piastri, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Bamman. For budget. If you're low on budget, you want to be prioritizing those budget gainers. Max will do poorly. F1 TV is better. Agreed. Come on, Aston. Thank you, Jeremy. Likes over 280. That's my team locked. I don't think... What did people do? No transfers. So yeah, Rain, same team. Tom, same team. What's Adam doing? I think Adam had the Lawson lineup. Ewan, same team. Like, us content creators are so boring. Stroll, Bamman, Lawson, or Stroll, Alonso, Lawson? Stroll, Alonso, Lawson. Well, ALTM, if your budget is low, I'd be going Bamman. If your budget is high, I'd be going Alonso. Anybody doing Limitless? I think quite a few people are doing Limitless. In fact, Alexander. So, yeah. Almost at 300 likes. So, guys, on your way out, before you close the door, step over the doormat, pick up your car keys from the virtual YouTube bowl. Just throw a like on the video. Subscribe. Do all that good stuff. It's been a good stream. I'll be here for a couple more minutes, so I'm still going to answer your questions. But 288 likes, 150 of you here, 3,000 views for the last 2 hours so far. That'll definitely tick up closer to 4K by the time all views are in. But it has been a good stream. It has been one to iron off, dust off the cobwebs, iron out the kinks, and just talk some good stuff for 2 hours of F1 Fantasy. Gavin, good luck with Limitless, my friend. Hoping you're pushing for a top 7 in the world this time around. Michael Consuelos, thank you for coming back, my friend. my number one proponent of milk before cereal. Yeah, getting up there. Just crossed 3,000 views for the last 2 hours, which is nice. Ali, enjoy quali as well, my friend. Great to have you back in the chat as always. Locked for 4 weeks. 1 min left. Russell for Limitless, but go max if you want to be different. Mazuris, I won't get ill, but I don't feel great still that I had a flat white claw out of a shoe. And yeah, we're almost at 300 likes. That would be nice. 100 of you. Quali is starting in 1 minute and 3 seconds. The deadline is about to cross on the counter in 4, 3, 2, 1, and teams have locked. So that's that. Lots of you guys coming through. It's been a great stream. Had a first great stream in a long time, and you guys make it all the more better. So as always, it's it's been a good one. It's been a good one. As you can see here now, no chips are active. I think, yeah. So quali is underway. Teams have locked. So yeah. Guys, look, as I said just before, like, it's been a great stream. Thank you so much for coming by. Timestamp for the Shuiobi was, when was it? It was after the first hour, I'm pretty sure. I mean, where is the shoe? This is the shoe. So smells like crap. I'm going to have to clean it out. But yeah, look guys, it was a great stream. First one back in a couple months. Look, as I said, drop a like on the way out as you're heading out to your weekend. It's been a great stream. Great to have you all back. We'll be back over the break. I've got a guest interview for those of you coming up next week with, if you couldn't piece together, a huge presence in the fantasy sports world. Really looking forward to talking about kind of the psychology element in fantasy sports, artificial intelligence in fantasy sports, and all that good stuff. So look, as I said, as always, and I always say, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Plenty of off-season content coming through your way, but I will be back for another stream, most likely for Zandvoort, and for all of you that have come through in the last couple of hours, thank you again. You make my Saturdays that much more enjoyable. So I'm going to leave it there for now, guys. Enjoy your weekends, most importantly. Good luck with your F1 fantasy teams for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I will see you all very, very soon.